Hey guys, it's me Noah here with the CP Gamers. This time I'm going to be showing you how you can make your own Battlefront 2 blasters out of Lego without needing to buy anything, assuming you have a few common Lego parts. This way you won't have to spend your money on custom parts. I know some people like it, but other people don't have the money to spend on those things, so if you're like me and you want to have cool blasters but you don't have any money to spend on custom stuff, this is how you're going to do it. So without further ado, let's get into each of these 16 blasters. So as you can see, I have them organized in rows of 4 because each class has 4 different blasters in Battlefront 2. So let's start with the Assault class and move our way across. So right here, we have the first one, which is going to be the DC-15A. And how I built that was simply one of these pieces, which is just a regular Lego blaster that I cut the top off. You're going to need to take some scissors and cut off the scope of a regular Lego pistol blaster. And then connect it onto a, let me disconnect this piece. It's a black Lego lightsaber hilt, and then I connected a Lego hand onto it that I cut off the extra part of the Lego hand, the part that sticks out. You can see there. I cut that off because the front of this blaster has like a small little folded up bipod type thing, and it was kind of the best way to get that look. So there's that one. The next one's really simple. Obviously, it's just the A280, which is the Rebel Blaster. Lego already makes this in pretty much perfect condition, so just use this if you want that. That's actually one of the better Lego blasters. Then we're going to move on to the CR2, which is another blaster that I made custom. This one's also really simple. You just take a Lego hand and put it onto the medium sized default Lego blaster thing, and that's what it looks like. You know, just a regular Lego hand. Slide it on there. The builds will get more complicated as we move on to the other classes, so just skip to that if you want to see how that works out. And then this piece also is pretty much just exactly what you need for the EL16HFE blaster, which is a first order blaster. Oh, I'm sorry, it's the resistance blaster. It's pretty large and square. It doesn't have a stock, but there's a version of it in the game that doesn't have a stock, so if you want that version, you can just use this piece. It would be a little bit better if this was on the top, the scope, but it's not. So then we'll move along to the pistols. You know, these are pretty much the same as before. You just have these regular Lego blaster pieces, but we're going to need to modify them a little bit. So I'll see if I can find a generic one that I don't have modified and show you what I did. So you're going to want to cut the scope off if you want to create the DC-17 blaster, which is what this is going to be represented by. So it's pretty simple, just cut the scope off, and be careful when you're doing it because the parts tend to, you know, fly around, but it's not really that hard to do. Then this is the Naboo blaster, which is just simply called the S5. What I did here was I took a medium blaster like this, and I cut the back parts off. So the back of the scope, the little piece that sticks out back there, I guess it's supposed to be the stock, so I took that and I cut it off, and now it looks like this. So that's what you need to do for the S5. Then you do kind of the opposite if you're trying to create the Blurg 1120. This one you just cut off the scope of the same blaster right here, this medium one. Cut it off, and then it looks like this. And then the default Lego pistol blaster with the scope is all you need for the final first order SE44C blaster. So that's what that looks like. Alright, so now let's move on to some of the more heavy blasters. These ones require a little bit more work, but I think the result is a lot cooler. So this one is pretty simple. This is going to be the DC-15 blaster. All you need to do is cut the scope part, once again, off of the top of a regular Lego longer blaster like this. Cut the scope off the top, and then use one of these Technic pieces to slide on, just like that, and there you go. Then we're going to move on to the next one, which is the DC-15LE. It's kind of a modified version of this blaster. But for this one, we're going to keep the scope connected. keep the scope connected, use one of these Technic pieces, which is slightly different, and then cut a Lego wrench piece. So the default Lego wrench piece is like this. You're going to want to cut the bottom part off so that you can create this piece, which locks on a little bit earlier. Locks on right there, like that, and then you're going to want to slide that piece in. Pretty easy to do if you're alright with cutting your Legos a little bit. Alright, so this next one is a little bit more work, but I think it looks pretty cool. It's going to be the FWMB 10K, which is a first order blaster. So here's what it looks like when you're done, and I'll show you all the parts you need to get it completed. So this one requires a little bit of cutting, just like the other ones have, but here are all the parts. Obviously these are just pretty simple, two little cylinder pieces, and then these two studs. Right here, which creates kind of like the little part that wraps around the trigger, you're going to have one of these pieces, which is a modified new type of skeleton arm. That's where I got it from. So you're going to want to cut the hand part off of the skeleton arm at the very end, and then take a regular Lego white hand and attach it to the skeleton hand, like I am about to do right here. So you take it and you just lock it on like that. So it looks like that's pretty simple. Then connect it onto one of these Lego harpoons, but you're going to want to cut the tip of the harpoon off because it's too long and it doesn't allow for you to use these cylinders, which slide on like that. So once the cylinder's on like that, you're going to want to take your regular Lego clip it on as far back as you can, leave a little bit of room for your skeleton arm like that, and then slide the whole thing back together. And that's how that one looks. It's pretty cool. I actually really like this one. So all of these builds, your Lego figure can hold. Some of them might need to be, you might need to modify the stance of your minifigure a little bit to make it look decent, but they can hold it. And so the last one in the heavy blasters category is this TL50. This one was a little bit difficult to make. I'm still not positive on how I feel about it. There's a few different ways you can do the back part, which is the only part that I'm a little bit concerned about, but I'll show you how I have this version set up. Let's see if I can take this off. Okay, so right here we have a regular square piece with a hole in the middle, connected to a square stud. Just connect it like that. Then you take a regular black jumper plate, connect it to the top of the assembly I just showed you. Make sure it's lined up there. Then you take one of these stud blasters, remove the top part, the gray part obviously, and then connect it so that the jumper plate is on the top. So that gives you kind of the square barrel that this gun has. And then what you're going to want to do with this is going to be the stock, so I'm not actually sure if I like this. It's a little bit large, so you can either use it like this, or you can try and create a different stock. I had one over here. Here, let me grab the pieces and I'll show you the second version of the stock you can use. Okay, so this is the second version of the stock. It's a lot smaller, but I don't know if it might be a little bit better for some of you guys. So you can actually just take a regular black stud and then a black cheese slope, connect them together, and then it looks more like this. This looks a little bit better. It's a little bit smaller, depends on what you want. So I'll just leave it like that. Alright, so now moving on to the longer range blasters. These ones are pretty cool also. Nothing too hard to do here, but just like the rest of them, you have to be a little bit creative. Alright, so the first one is going to be the Valken 38X. So this one, it's not really that hard to do, I don't think, and it requires any cutting of the Lego, so that's good. So right here, for the very front part, we have a Lego cylinder piece and a Lego Technic pin. Slide it in like that. Regular Lego blaster, long style, slide that in. And then all you need to do here is take a cheese slope, a black clip, connect them like that, And then you can add another black square stud on the side, and then put this on the side of the weapon, which is kind of like the magazine on the side. It's pretty neat when you have it finished. Alright, so the next one we have is the IQ-A11, which is one of the longer blasters in the game. So as you can see, it's pretty long, and you have to make the barrel extremely intricate to get the distance you need. So I'll show you how I did this one. This one required a good amount of cutting, unfortunately. So here's the regular blaster. So then directly after you do that, I connected 2 of the Lego hands that I cut the long part off. You don't actually have to cut the long part off, I just thought it looked a little bit better. So connect it like that. These are just used to kind of make the barrel here a little bit thicker so that it doesn't look weird when you connect the next part, which is this lightsaber, black lightsaber hilt again. Throw that on there. So that's what that looks like. So then comes the interesting part. So remember earlier when you cut off the bottom part of these pieces? Now you can use the section that you threw away before, or didn't throw away, but like set aside. You can use the handle part, which is going to be just like this. You can use that to slide it into this lightsaber hilt, give it a little bit of extra distance, and then use a lightsaber hilt that you've cut in half to give it a nice little final touch. And that's how you create the IQ-11, or the IQ-A11. So the next blaster is the A20 CFE, which is a modified version of the regular assault blaster that we saw earlier. So for this one you can use another cut lightsaber hilt to stick on the very tip of the barrel, and another part that you used before, which once again is the top part of these little wrench pieces. You can use that to stick on the side. Make sure you stick it so that the little nub part is facing the side, so that looks a little bit better. There you go. That one's pretty easy to do, but I like how it looks. And the final blaster we have is the largest and heaviest of the long-range blasters, and it's pretty simple to make. It's just going to be the NT242 blaster. So what we're going to do here is another one of these pieces. You're going to want to find one, and you're going to want to cut this part off. This one is a little bit hard to cut off because this is pretty thick, so be careful when you're doing that. But that's what it looks like. And then you're going to want to connect one of these little telescope pieces, I think it is, to a regular black stud. Connect it like that. That'll give you the length you want for this blaster. And there you go. That is the 16 main class Battlefront 2 blasters. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, some of these are not perfect, obviously, but they're pretty good for spending literally no money at all. All you need is basic Lego parts and you can create these blasters. So let me know what you guys think. I can create some more if you guys liked it. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the channel. It means a lot to me, guys, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video.